the ultimate truth, which is, and you're not alone, you reach a threshold in life where the symptoms start to get really bad. The stress is overwhelming, and oftentimes you cannot function. Or something will happen, an accident or a job where you're pushed out finally in some kind of way, or you lose your house, or the house burns down. Or the ultimate truth is the way that you're living, the things you're telling yourself and telling yourself you have to do, it doesn't work for you anymore, because it's so fundamentally not true for your life of freedom and happiness. And yes, it's possible. So you've reached a threshold where essentially, you know, sort of symbolically, your clothes are too small. They're so small that it's time to grow, to break the shell and find something that fits you. And that will be a radically different kind of life. It's a bipolar world, night, day, black, white, etc. First part of life, second part of life, where ideally we take risks. We get courageous and vulnerable. Again, you can't separate the two things. It's courage and vulnerability. So we can't predict the outcome on either. So if we're courageous, we're vulnerable. If we're vulnerable, we're courageous. And it takes a lot, because again, we're tribal. It's very difficult, it's impossible to do this life alone. We go bad, or we die, or we get so desperately bitter, we kill ourselves through our symptoms of cancer or whatever it might be. And that's not to say all cancer, well, it is, yeah, my opinion of anger is repressed feeling, because it has, when's it been your turn? And then life forces it to be your turn, because you're so vulnerable that you're going to need tribe. That's the truth. And you do you. Pop a 7 in the chat if that is actually true for you. Is this, if you're very stressed and overwhelmed and so on, save the video if this is too much. You can come back to it. Bit by bit, 1% shift. Something fundamentally you do not want to be doing. And that's good for you. You've outgrown it. Reason, season, lifetime. So you get to break out of the shell. It's a breakthrough. It's a graduation. It's a threshold of change you get to mark it. Get yourself a ring or a talisman of some kind that says that I'm reaching a threshold that I'm passing through now to whatever it is. 1% shift, model proven practices. Twice a week, by the way, I coach people on success principles. You're very welcome, The Awakening. Then there is the more sinister thing, which is the benefits to you of being overwhelmed, panic attack, sick, ill, the benefit. And that can often be, and I see it so often, where the symptoms become a force field, essentially, between you and the person that is taking the piss out of you, for example, is, oh, I can't because I'm unwell. I can't because I've got migraine. I can't because of my irritable bowel, my eczema, my asthma, my whatever. So it's a buffer. So you don't have to challenge that person, take a risk, set a boundary and so on, because we're ill. So we can't be challenged. Can't be, it's intimidating to other people. If you tell me that you have a cancer and you're behaving like a shit, and I can't really respond because you'll say, oh, I'm well. And it's not that it's manipulative, it's unconscious. We don't have the courage, we don't trust ourselves, and we don't trust other people that will be safe to say, no thank you, or this is not doable for me to do this job at X amount of, with this amount of annual leave or payment, or we don't know how to say straight and direct, thank you and no thank you, or fight our corner without feeling, oh, it's going to cause conflict. It's not going to cause conflict. You're responding to something conflicting in your life, like an adult who knows about moderation and boundaries. So that's the piece that's often the most curious for most people is, what's the benefit of me being ill and overwhelmed and anxious and panic attacks and pulling my hair and bulimic and anorexic and people pleasing, the most acceptable addiction in our culture. And we then get to go gently, gently, slowly, slowly. So if you'd like more on this, subscribe, and I'm doing videos on it, along with a book, Daily Disciplines, and a masterclass. You're very welcome to take that as well. It's on my website. be gentle. It happens to us all. You're not alone. We just get to learn. And it's a gift in it. I've been there again and again and again. Break through. Everybody has a dark night of the soul. So whatever it is that's going on with you, if it's you're bankrupt or you've slept with someone that you shouldn't or whatever. Sorry, I didn't mean to dismiss that so readily. These are profoundly important things in our lives. And they happen for a reason. There's stories that you're in a psychiatric facility or you've done a human thing. There's nobody on the face of the earth that hasn't had nightmare things in their lives that have hurt them desperately. And we all do bad things. And if anybody ever gives you the sense that they haven't, they have. They're just desperately in denial, and that's, an ego issue. It's not personal to you. Or me, for that matter. We just get to have guidance. We're tribal. So, go gently. What one thing could you take from this? Listen to the still, soft voice, the higher self. Talks very distinctly, very simple, very kind. The only time it's a bit more forceful is if there's danger, which might go. Otherwise, it's your fairy godmother and fairy grandfather, and it's got your back. This, the heart. Listen to it gently. One small little step. Might be to text a friend or ring a friend, ideally. However, and say, listen, I've overcommitted there. I'm sorry. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm starting to look after myself a bit better so I can give from the overflow, and I'm really grateful for any support. I'm grateful for your support. That's not passive aggression. That's an invite for them to love you. Unconditional love. Love, respect, appreciation from people just because you exist, not because you do anything other than that. A real friend, someone who knows real love, and some people it's not personal. They can only meet you, a classic saying, and I forget who said it. People can only meet us to the degree to which they've met themselves. So if they're really caught up with, you have to do this, that and the other, and you can't make excuses, and they'll get all triggered because you're taking care of you. You're a teacher to them. Triggers are the guides. You do you. And then maybe, again, you're not one of the people on your deathbed to say, I wish I'd lived someone else's life because I didn't live mine. In fact, you did live someone else's life, everybody else. You missed out on yours, though. So, now's your invitation to change. Sending love.